Hello and welcome to the Ingles table. My name is Susan Murray and I'm delighted that you're here. Today we're going to make some delicious dishes together. Here at the Carolina Bed and Breakfast, our philosophy is simple. Food should be fresh, flavorful, innovative, attractive, and made with love, which is why we've partnered with Ingles to bring you these recipes. In my cookbooks, I've shared some of my favorites from a life lived abroad. And today we're looking at recipes that our guests here at the B&B absolutely love. I think you will too. Now, let's get cooking. Now that we're back from Ingles, let's get started making our puff pastry for our French eggs in puff pastry. Sometimes, you like to make something really luxurious, and our French eggs are just the right thing for that. It's very springy, very fresh, rich, luscious, not hard to do, but it's going to absolutely knock the socks off of the person you're serving breakfast to. So I'm going to start with one slice of puff pastry, which has been thawed in the refrigerator overnight. And we're going to open it up just like that. And this is actually more than you need to make a breakfast for two. We're going to make little cases for our eggs to sit in. So you slice the puff pastry like that, right down here. This is parchment paper that I put on the cooking sheet. That slows down the baking time on the bottom so that the puff pastry has time to rise without burning on the bottom. We're going to cut each of those right in half, just like that, and in half, and then make a score right on top. Don't go through the puff pastry. Just go down the sides and across and across. Now what that's going to form is a lid that you will be able to take off. When you take the puff pastry out of the oven, you cut right through that lid. You'll see it standing up a little bit. You can pull that lid right off, and then you have a little box to put your French eggs in. And here, and one more time. Now these cook in a 375-degree oven for about 15 minutes until they've really risen up. Take them out, cut the lid off, and then you're just going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan over it, stick it back in the oven for another couple of minutes, just long enough to kind of melt that Parmesan. So we're going to stick this right on the puff pastry, on the parchment paper here. And now I'm going to throw these in the oven. Once again, it's a 375-degree oven for about 15 minutes, so we'll be right back. While our puff pastries are cooking, let's make our French eggs. Now, you might want to know, why are they called French eggs? Well, many years ago, there was a man named Escoffier who was the father of French cooking. And he was the first person to really do a lot of work with eggs. And he started out by making scrambled eggs, eggs a la Escoffier, which are actually scrambled eggs that are scrambled over a double boiler. It takes up to 20 minutes to do that. And while it's delicious, nobody that I know has time to do anything like that. But I think we can do better than the diner, slap the eggs on the hot thing and scramble them up and put them out. So we make our eggs slowly over a very low flame, and we make them rich. So I'm going to start with 6 eggs. That's 3 eggs per person. It's always actually easiest to do this for 2 people. You can do 3, but you're going to need a smaller frying pan. And we get those eggs in there. Now, I once heard that you should actually break your eggs down here like that, and it does work better. It stops the shell from potentially getting in your eggs, but what it does do is it actually messes up your countertop, so I'm not sure whether that's a win or a loss, but whatever works for you. Okay, so 6 eggs. These are nice farm fresh eggs from Ingles. And then we're going to take, a nice splash of cream. This is heavy cream. No, I was not kidding when I said that this is rich. Good pinch of salt. And you always need to salt and pepper your eggs, and you're going to taste them again. It's very important to taste your food while you're going along. And then finally, a nice handful of fresh cut dill. Just like that. Dill is a natural affinity for eggs. And then we're going to whip them. And we're going to give it 40 whips, just like they do in France, until those eggs are really, really well mixed up. You can see, if you have a chance, the fresher your eggs, you can see the color is wonderful. You'll be able to see when your yolks and your whites start to get really emulsified together, and you'll start to get a little bit of bubble in there, which will show you that you're getting to the spot you want to be at. Now, I should have been counting to 40, but I can't count to 40 and talk to you at the same time. So we're just going to hope that I hit that enough time to make this work. That looks pretty good. Right, now the next thing we're going to do is take a nice big 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to put that in. This is on a very, very low heat, okay? Because we want these eggs to cook very slowly. It should take about 6 minutes to get these eggs cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is put them in our pan here and stir them constantly with a wire whisk. If you don't have a wire whisk, you should use a fork, but don't use a spatula. If it starts to cook too fast, you can lift it off the flame or turn the flame down very low. This is going to take about 6 minutes to cook, so I'm going to leave you here for a minute and we'll come back. Okay, you'll see when it starts to get just about there, just like any time you scrambled eggs, it starts to thicken in the middle. Stir really fast because we don't want to get great big curds in here. We want to keep it nice and smooth, and we don't want to overcook it. We want shiny eggs which are rich and delicious. And this is where you need to taste your eggs and make sure, oh my God, that they've been seasoned well. This is everything an egg should be. Just so rich and so delicious with all that butter and cream in here. And now we're just about done. I'm going to lift it off the flame to finish it so that it doesn't cook too quickly. And so you can see that's what we want the eggs to look like. And now we're ready to plate our eggs. So here we have our puff pastry, which has come out of the oven. You've cut the top off and the Parmesan is on top of it. And I've added some smoked salmon to this plate because, of course, smoked salmon and eggs are just a natural pairing. And finally, we have some lovely fresh asparagus that I roasted in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Put a little olive oil and some salt and pepper on it. So we're going to take our eggs here and we're going to fill up our shells. And I like to actually let it come right off the sides like that a bit. Put some of the softest on the bottom and then just add a little of the creamy bit, the more cooked bit from the top there, just like that. And the other side. And then we're going to put our lids right there like that. And the other lid on. And I've got some extra fresh dill here to garnish it with because we love herbs here at the Carolina Bed and Breakfast. And finally, this asparagus can go on, excuse my fingers. We're going to put about 4 to 6 slices of asparagus on each plate. And just to finish the asparagus off, I like to take a little fresh lemon and a microplaner and give it a nice touch of fresh lemon on top of the asparagus. And there you have it, French eggs in puff pastry. We're out of time for today, but I want to thank you so much for joining us here at the Ingles table. Remember, you can find the full recipe and ingredients right underneath the video player. Until next time, I'll see you online.